ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। अष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतिरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। श्रीमद्भागवतम कैंटो 4 चैप्टर 12 वर्स 34। तत्र 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 प्रशंसद्भिः पथि वैमानिकैः सुरैः अवकीर्यमाणो ददृशे kusumai kramashograhan. While Dhruva was passing through space, he gradually saw all the planets of the solar system. And on the path, he saw all the demigods in their airplanes showering flowers upon him like rain. So he saw all the planets of the solar system. There is a Vedic version, Yasmin Vignate Sarvamevam Vignatam Bhavati, which means that by knowing the Supreme Person of Godhead, everything becomes known to the devotee. Similarly, by going to the planet of the Supreme Person of Godhead, one can know all the other planetary systems on the path to Vaikuntha. We should remember that Dhruva Maharaj's body was different from our bodies. While boarding the Vaikuntha airplane, his body changed to a completely spiritual golden hue. So spiritual body is golden hue. No one can surpass the higher planets in a material body. They can't go past higher planets in a material body. But when one gets a spiritual body, he can travel not only to the higher planetary system of this material world, but even to the still higher planetary system known as Vaikuntha Loka. It is well known that Narada Muni travels everywhere, both in the spiritual and material worlds, because he has a spiritual body. And so this is the point that devotee, his body becomes spiritualized. So actually, it doesn't need to die. But yeah, this process of death happens so that people don't get bewildered. Otherwise, people will go bewildered. What is this? And this person suddenly vanished. So just to maintain sanity, devotees also go through the similar looking death process. Similar looking, but it's not actually the same. So they'll just leave their body, and they would have already got their spiritual body, and they'll just leave the material body. They leave both the gross and subtle bodies here, and they'll just go to Vaikuntha without being seen by others. It should be noted also that while Suniti was going to Vaikuntha, she also changed her body into a spiritual form. Like Sri Suniti, every mother should train, every mother, please note, should train her child to become a devotee like Dhruva Maharaj. Suniti instructed her son, even at the age of 5 years, to be unattached to worldly affairs and to go to the forest to search out the Supreme Lord. Nowadays, even in the later stage in life, everybody is just running behind, be attached to worldly affairs. At the age of 5, Suniti advised her son, saying that go to the forest, search out the Supreme Lord. Mm. She never desired that her son remain at home comfortably without ever undertaking austerities and penances to achieve the favor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Of course, Dhruva had some desire and he went for that, but still, austerities and penances were required. Every mother like Suniti must take care of her son and train him to become a brahmachari from the age of 5 years and to undergo austerities and penances for spiritual realization. Every mother must take care of her son and train him to become a brahmachari. We're so afraid. If we, oh, my son will become brahmachari, then what will happen to me? No, your life will become successful if you can make your son a brahmachari and if you can dedicate his life to Krishna. The benefit will be that if her son becomes a strong devotee like Dhruva, certainly not only will he be transferred back home, back to Godhead, but she will also be transferred with him to the spiritual world, even though she may be unable to undergo austerities and penances in executing devotional service. So, even if we are not able to do, if our children can become pure devotees, then we will also go back. Of course, this is not applicable only to for a son, even for a daughter, it's applicable. Mm. So, our only duty is to make our children Krishna conscious. As much as possible, we have to try. Of course, we have to understand some realities, especially for those of us who have had children before coming to Krishna consciousness. So, with uh, material consciousness, we would have begotten children, and so they will also have material consciousness. So it will be very, some children are very difficult. They don't like to come into Krishna consciousness, etc. So we have to be very smart, intelligent, mm, deal with them, give them love, affection, and somehow little bit nudge them towards bhakti gradually, slowly, so that they understand that there's nothing else beyond bhakti in this life. But yeah, if children are favorable, then it becomes very easy, and it becomes our duty then to not misguide them, not put them on the wrong path. There are so many children actually amongst our devotees who are at least in the areas that I'm preaching. Children are so Krishna conscious. But somehow parents are not ready. Parents are still hanging on. Oh, no, no, he has to have a material life, this, that, and all that. But why? Why is it required? If he can perfect his life by dedicating his life to Krishna, then why not? Why not? We're just worried about this society. What will the society do to us? Nothing. Are they going to come and help us go back to Godhead? No. So why do we have to be worried about this society? We have to be worried about our children, their future, and of course our future also. The children become perfect devotees, then they'll go back to Goloka and they'll take us also. Simple. So for all parents, if kids are Krishna conscious, favorable to Krishna consciousness, please encourage them. Please give them whatever facilities required so that they can progress in their bhakti. Don't discourage them. Don't become an obstacle on their path. त्रिलोकीं देवयानेन सोऽतिव्रज्य मुनीन् अपि परस्ताद्यध्रुवगतिर्विष्णो पदमताभ्यगात्. Dhruva Maharaj had surpassed the seven planetary systems of the great sages were known as Saptarshi. Beyond that region, he achieved the transcendental situation of permanent life in the planet where Lord Vishnu lives. So we already read about this. It's called Shishumara. Star. It's a star. The airplane was piloted by the two chief associates of Lord Vishnu, Sunanda and Nanda. Only such spiritual astronauts can pilot their airplane beyond the seven planets and arrive in the region of eternal blissful life. It is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, Parastasmatu Bhavonya, that beyond this planetary system begins the spiritual sky, where everything is permanent and blissful. The planets there are known as Vishnu Loka or Vaikuntha Loka. Only there can one get an eternal blissful life of knowledge, Sachidananda life. Beyond Vaikuntha Loka is the material. Below Vaikuntha Loka is the material universe where Lord Brahma and others in Brahma Loka can live until the annihilation of this universe. But that life is not permanent. That is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. Brahma Lokaha. Even if one goes to the topmost planet, one cannot achieve eternal life. Only by arriving in Vaikuntha Loka. Arriving, Prabhupada says, not going. That means that he is already in Vaikuntha. Can one live an eternally blissful life? So you arrive here. If I'm already there, then I'll say you please arrive here. You please come here. Otherwise, you'll say you go there. Mm, mm. So arriving in Vaikuntha Loka, can one live an eternally blissful life? यद्भ्राजमानं स्वरुचैव सर्वतो लोकास्त्रयोह्यनु विभ्राजन्त एते नाव्रजन् जन्तुषु ये ननुग्रहा व्रजन्ति भद्राणि चरन्ति ये निशम्. The self-effulgent Vaikuntha planets, by whose illumination alone all the illuminating planets within this material world give off a reflected light, cannot be reached by those who are not merciful to other living entities. Only persons who constantly engage in welfare activities for other living entities can reach the Vaikuntha planets. Now it's very clear. who can reach the Vaikuntha planets. We cannot say I'm just doing sadhana bhakti, so I'm chanting and sitting in my home and I'm going to go back to Krishna. No. We have to be merciful to other living entities, because this is the path of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu means mercy preaching. Mercy means preaching. Mercy doesn't mean do whatever you want. Showing mercy to other living entities means preaching, bringing them to Krishna consciousness. So only persons who constantly engage in welfare activities for other living entities. And this is not social work, because normal, regular bodily social work connected on the bodily platform, it will only give punya. It's not going to take one to Vaikuntha planets. Here is a description of two aspects of the Vaikuntha planets. The first is that in the Vaikuntha sky, there is no need of sun and moon, because it is self-effulgent. This is confirmed by the Upanishads as well as Bhagavad Gita. Na tad bhasete suryo na shashanko na pavakaha. In the spiritual world, the Vaikuntha lokas are themselves illuminated. There is therefore no need of sun, moon, or electric light. It is in fact the illumination of the Vaikuntha lokas which is reflected in the material sky. Of course, here we have to understand that spiritual world, material world. So material world, the cloud of Pradhana. So it doesn't allow the actually Brahmajyoti to enter inside. So it is darkness, Andhakara. So it is the Vaikuntha planet within the material realm, which is this planet, which is self-effulgent, which is giving out light, which is being reflected by the sun and moon. So sun and moon are getting their light from this Vaikuntha planet. From this material world, however, people can be transferred to the Vaikuntha Loka if they incessantly engage in welfare activities for all other living entities. Such incessant welfare activities can really be performed only in Krishna consciousness. There's no philanthropic work within this material world but Krishna consciousness that can engage a person 24 hours a day. So it's only this is the only philanthropic work which is going to take us back to Krishna. A Krishna conscious being is always engaged in planning how to take all of suffering humanity back home, back to Godhead. Please note. It is not, Prabhupada is not saying a Krishna conscious being is always engaged in planning how to go back home, back to Godhead. No, he's not saying that. He's saying how to take all suffering humanity back home, back to Godhead. Even if one is not successful in reclaiming all the fallen souls back to Godhead, still because he is Krishna conscious, his path to Vaikuntha Loka is open. He personally becomes qualified to enter the Vaikuntha Lokas, and if anyone follows such a devotee, he also enters Vaikuntha Loka. See, and this is the beauty actually of Krishna consciousness. If we are actually Krishna conscious, then automatically other devotees will come and follow us, which means that we are then actually helping humanity, because we are not doing Krishna consciousness in some forest where no jivas are there. We are doing it absolutely in the midst of other people. So if we become so strongly Krishna conscious, that other jivas will actually start following us. And we've seen this. It could be our relatives, our brothers, sisters, parents, etc. Right? They're seeing, us becoming Krishna conscious, and they're also attempting. And so, which becomes social service, service, serving suffering humanity. But when we actually go all out to actually, try to take the message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to all jivas, then we get special mercy to actually make a quick progress even on our own spiritual path. So if we want to make tremendous progress in Krishna consciousness, we have to distribute the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Others who engage in envious activities are known as karmis. Karmis are envious of one another. Karmis are envious of even devotees. Simply for sense gratification, they can kill thousands of innocent animals. Jnanis are not as sinful as karmis, but they do not try to reclaim others back to Godhead. They perform austerities for their own liberation. See, this is the difference. A devotee doesn't perform austerities for his own liberation. This is very, very important, especially in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement. Yogis are also engaged in self-aggrandizement by trying to attain mystic powers. But devotees, Vaishnavas, who are servants of the Lord, come forward in the actual field of work in Krishna consciousness to reclaim fallen souls. That is why, this might have, our devotees here might have experienced before they became actively engaged in some, like some program, organizing some program, how their Krishna consciousness was. And now after becoming actively engaged in preaching, becoming part of preaching means, yeah, there's so many services required for preaching to happen. So it's not like only the person who's sitting on Vyasas and preaching gets the benefit. No, for him to be able to sit and do that, so many other things have to happen in the background, etc. So everybody who is engaged, so you would have seen a difference in your own life. Before you were sitting at home and doing your bhakti, now you are actively thinking about how to preach, what activities have to be done, what services are there, etc. Mm. So you can only share your own realization. Has your life not changed? Has your Krishna consciousness not become more mm, strong? Have you not made more spiritual progress before and after? Mm. Anybody wants to share their experience before engaging actively in preaching activities and after? Has there been a change in your spiritual life? Anybody? Yeah, Shashank.
Hare Krishna, Namaste.
Um,
Yeah, Prabhu, of course, lot of difference I have observed, Prabhu. Uh, Even the smallest service in our Satsanga Vijayanagar, whenever, like, I can't define lot of patience and I like stabilization, I would say, Prabhu. Like,
very
it
good. Okay.
not only resulted in completely, complete my life got stabilized, I could say. That is the
Mm,
word I can use.
mm.
So it made
Okay.
me lot of
Nice.
difference, Prabhu, that stabilization.
Okay. Anybody else? Before and after active service, active preaching changes. Yeah, Rajprabhu.
Hare, Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
So, before taking active preaching service, I am doing in home as how other devotees, I mean, who are not involved in preaching service. So the difference is like there is no strict in sadhana, means we are
Mm,
completing grounds late night,
mm,
and we are not so strict in following the rules. Like
mm,
sometimes, okay, we can eat outside without onion,
mm,
garlic,
mm,
those things, and that determination is not coming
mm,
because of a lack of this kind of activity. And I observed like uh, before we are doing, I mean, I am doing only book distribution during December month.
mm,
That too only on Vaikuntha Ekadashi. Other days not getting inspiration.
mm,
Okay, we'll see like that. But
mm,
after taking this preaching activity, it's
mm,
like whole life. I mean, my life, Prabhu, completely turned, Prabhu. Like
mm,
now, strict in sadhana and book reading also improved a lot. Like
mm.
hours, I'm able to read the books now.
Very good.
Even I'm not able to understand, and also while working also, so internally I am thinking about how to improve, what program we can do,
Okay.
and
Nice.
so these things, I mean, personally my sadhana improved a lot, Prabhu.
Yeah. Of course, I mean, when we are doing all this, we also have to make sure that our we don't rock our material life, because material life has to remain stable. Material life doesn't have to make huge progress, because that is karmi view of life. But for devotees, it just has to remain stable, meaning it shouldn't come in, it shouldn't become an obstacle for us on the, if material life becomes starts rocking, then our spiritual focus gets disturbed. So we should not rock our material life, but at the same time, we don't have to like, try to improve it too much and all that. So just focus on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement and service, and automatically everything changes. Actually, even material life becomes smooth. Krishna will take care of things for devotees who are dedicating their life. Um, yeah, so everybody has to engage in preaching, in some form of preaching. Only Krishna conscious persons are eligible to enter into the spiritual world. That is clearly stated in this verse and is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, wherein the Lord says that there is no one dearer to him than those who preach the gospel of Bhagavad Gita to the world. See, we become dear, so dear to Krishna. Hmm? Hmm. What is that? What is that verse? न च तस्मान् मनुष्येषु कश्चिन् मे प्रियकृत्तमः भविता न च मे तस्माद् अन्य प्रियतरो भुवि. So that is what this verse is. Okay. शान्त समदृश शुद्धाः सर्वभूतानुरञ्जनाः यान्त्यञ्जसाच्युतपदम् अच्युतप्रियबान्धवाः. Persons who are peaceful, please note, peaceful, equipoised, cleansed and purified, and who know the art of pleasing all other living entities. Keep friendship only with the devotees of the Lord. They alone can very easily achieve the perfection of going back home, back to Godhead. Mm. Mm. So this is the qualities we have to develop: peaceful, equipoised, pure, and we have to have friendship only with devotees. Then we can go back. The description of this verse fully indicates that only devotees are eligible to enter the kingdom of God. The first point stated is that the devotees are peaceful, for they have no demands. Please note, no demands for personal sense gratification. They are simply dedicated to the service of the Lord. Karmis cannot be peaceful because they have immense demands for sense gratification. Jnanis cannot be peaceful because they're too busy trying to attain liberation or merge into the existence of Supreme. Yogis are also restless to get mystic power. But a devotee is peaceful because he is fully surrendered to the personality of Godhead and thinks of himself as completely helpless. Okay? And do we really think of ourselves as completely helpless? This is the Trinadapi state. Just as a child feels complete peace in depending on the parent, so a devotee is completely peaceful, for he depends on the mercy of the Supreme Person of Godhead. Yesterday I shared one message in our WhatsApp group. Prabhupada is saying, whatever, whether happiness or distress, just take everything as mercy of the Lord. So a devotee is always thinking, no, no, nothing is there in my hands. It's all in Krishna's hands. I'm just one instrument. So I'm totally helpless. An instrument has to be moved by somebody. So if Krishna is moving me in some direction, then something will happen. Otherwise, no. I desire that Krishna makes me an instrument, but I'm completely helpless. Mm. So if we are helpless, actually, materially, when somebody feels helpless, they become restless and they become agitated. But spiritually, when we feel complete helplessness in the, depending on Krishna, then we become peaceful. It's the opposite state. Materially, helplessness leads to agitation, frustration, etc. But spiritually, helplessness leads to peaceful, more determined, vyavasayatmika buddhi, fixed, stable spiritual life. A devotee is equipoised. He sees everyone on the same transcendental platform. Devotee knows that although a conditioned soul has a particular type of body according to his past fruitive activities, actually everyone is part of the Supreme Lord. A devotee sees all living entities with spiritual vision and does not discriminate on the platform of bodily concept of life. Such devotees, such qualities develop only in the association of devotees. Not if we are by ourselves. If we are by ourselves, then we are always in bodily concept of life. Without the association of devotees, one cannot advance in Krishna consciousness. So clear. Therefore, we have established ISKCON, Prabhupada is saying. Actually, whoever lives in this society automatically develops Krishna consciousness. Of course, for us, living in the society doesn't mean physically living, but mentally living. That we are engaged in activities, and even if we are living in some separate house, literally we are, by mind and intelligence and body, in terms of activities, we are living in the temple. Devotees are dear to the Supreme Person of Godhead, and the Supreme Person of Godhead is only, please note here, not also. He is only dear to devotees. He is not bothered about other people. He just leaves it to their karma. Till they turn towards him and say, Krishna, please help me. On this platform, only can one make progress in Krishna consciousness. Persons in Krishna consciousness or devotees of the Lord can please everyone, as is evident in the Krishna consciousness movement. We invite everyone without discrimination. We request everyone to sit down and chant Hare Krishna mantra and take as much prasada as we can supply. Thus everyone is pleased with us. This is the qualification. Sarva Bhutanuranjanaha. As for purification, no one can be more pure than devotees. Anyone who once utters the name of Vishnu immediately becomes purified inside and outside. Yasmare Pundarikaksham Sabhahyapyantara Suchihi. Since a devotee constantly chants the Hare Krishna mantra, no contamination of the material world can touch him. Only if we constantly chant the mantra, not otherwise. Otherwise, contamination will keep touching us. But if we are constantly chanting the mantra, then no contamination can touch us. He is therefore actually purified. Muchi hoy, shuchi hoy, yadi Krishna bhaje. It is said that even a cobbler or a person born in the family of a cobbler can be elevated to the position of Brahmana, Shuchi, if he takes to Krishna consciousness. Any person who is purely Krishna conscious and who engages in chanting the Hare Krishna mantra is the purest in the whole universe. So many instructions here. Constantly chant. Let's note. Constantly chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Now, what is the other one? We should try to please devotees by bringing them, making them sit and chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, giving them prasadam. We have to associate with devotees, without which we cannot make advancement. All these qualities of being equipoised, etc., develop only in the association of devotees. Devotees should see all living entities with spiritual vision, not with bodily concept of life. You have to feel completely helpless, depend on Krishna, remain peaceful. So many instructions. Iti uttana pada putro dhruva krishna parayanah abhutrayanam lokanam chuda manir ivamalaha. In this way, the fully Krishna conscious Dhruva, Maharaj, the exalted son of Maharaj, Uttanapada, attained the summit of the three statuses of planetary systems. Exact Sanskrit terminology for Krishna consciousness is here mentioned. Krishna Parayana. Parayana means going forward. Anyone who is going forward to the goal of Krishna is called Krishna Parayana or fully Krishna conscious. See, anyone who is going forward, movement, that's why Prabhupada called this movement. And we have to move and we should not digress, we should not go back, we should go forward. Every moment we have to be more Krishna conscious than the previous moment. That is going forward. Not after 5 years, okay, now no movement in the last 5 years, now let me try. That's not going to happen. Unless we are moving, inching every day, we cannot make progress, we cannot move. And for this to happen, we need to be on our toes. And it's possible only through preaching activities. Otherwise, we are like Raju Prabhu was saying, we'll be lazy, not inspired to do anything. The example of Dhruva indicates that every Krishna conscious person can expect to reach the topmost summit of all three planetary systems within the universe. Krishna conscious person can occupy an exalted position beyond the imagination of any ambitious materialist. So why are we competing with materialists? That's why in Bhagavatam, first canto, first chapter, first verse, Prabhupada says that devotees are not competing. We are not competing. We are not competing with materialists. If we live in a materialistic society, then we will look at materialistic people. If we associate with them, then look at them and compare ourselves with them. This is not the work of a devotee. Work of a devotee is to look at other people and say, oh, so unfortunate that Jiva is not in Krishna consciousness. That is the work. Not looking at their material accomplishment. Like I was saying, even amongst when devotees meet each other, then mostly discussion is bodily. Oh, you're so fat, you're so thin. Oh, you changed job. Oh, you got a new car. Oh, this dress is nice. Same. This is not the conversation that needs to happen amongst devotees. I've seen inevitably, the first question will always be related to the body. So we are so materially stuck completely, bodily concept of life. You have to raise above all that, for which you need to have such association. If you're in the association of people who just come and talk about, the bodily platform, then how can we raise above it? How will we raise? How will we move above it? Gambhira vego nimisham jyotisham chakramahitam Yasmin Brahmati Kauravya Medhyam Ivagavam Ganaha. Saint Maitreya continued, my dear Dhruva, descendant of Kuru, as a herd of bulls circumambulates a central pole. On the right side, all the luminaries within the universal sky incessantly circumambulate the abode of Dhruva with great force and speed. Each and every planet within the universe travels at a very high speed. From the statement in Bhagavatam, it is understood that even the sun travels 16,000 miles in a second. And from Brahma Samhita, we can understand Yachakchuresha Savita Sakalagrahana. The sun is considered to be the eye of the Supreme Person of Godhead, Govinda. And it also has a specific orbit within which it circles. Similarly, all other planets have their specific orbits. But together, all of them encircle the pole star or Dhruva Loka, where Dhruva is situated at the summit of the three worlds. We can only imagine how highly exalted the actual position of a devotee is. And certainly, we cannot even conceive how exalted is the position of the Supreme Lord. महिमानं विलोक्यास्य नारदो भगवान् ऋषिः आतोद्यं वितुदन् श्लोकान् सत्रे गायत् प्रचेतसाम्. After observing the glories of Dhruva Maharaj, the great sage Narada, playing his veena, went to the sacrificial arena of Prachetas and very happily chanted the following three verses. Great sage Narada was the spiritual master of Dhruva. Certainly he was very glad to see Dhruva's glories. A father is very happy to see the son's advancement in every respect. So the spiritual master is very happy to observe the ascendancy of his disciple. If the guru sees that the disciple is making progress in the right direction, he becomes very happy. So Narada was very happy to see his disciple achieve success. Narada Vacha Nunam sunite patidevataayas tapaprabhavasya sutasya tam gatim drishtvaabhyupayan apivedavadino naivadigantum prabhavanti kim nripaha. Great said Narada said, simply by the influence of his spiritual advancement and powerful austerity, Dhruva Maharaj, the son of Suniti, who was devoted to her husband, acquired an exalted position not possible to attain even for the so-called Vedantists or strict followers of the Vedic principles, not to speak of ordinary human beings. And of course, Narada Muni is not saying that it was because of me, even though it was actually because of him. He is saying because of Dhruva's spiritual advancement and powerful austerity, the humility of a Vaishnava. In this verse, the word Vedavadinaha is very significant. Vedavadarata Partha, Bhagavad Gita also says. Generally, a person who strictly follows the Vedic principles is called Vedavadi. And there are also so-called Vedantists who advertise themselves as followers of Vedanta, but who misinterpret Vedanta. The expression Vedavadarataha is also found in Bhagavad Gita, referring to persons who are attached to the Vedas without understanding the purport of the Vedas. And Krishna says, what is the purport of the Vedas? Vedescha sarvam ahameva vedyaha. Krishna is saying the aim of Vedas is to know me. Such persons may go on talking about the Vedas or may execute austerities in their own way, but it is not possible for them to attain such an exalted position as Dhruva, because they won't be able to understand Krishna. As far as ordinary kings are concerned, it is not at all possible. Specific mention of kings is significant because formerly kings were also Rajarshis, so the kings were as good as great sages. Dhruva Maharaj was a king and at the same time was a learned. He was as learned as a great sage. But without devotional service, neither a great king, a kshatriya, nor a great brahmana, strictly adhering to the Vedic principles, can be elevated to the exalted position attained by Dhruva. So it is not a kshatriya, it's not a brahmana, somebody who's strictly following Vedic principles. Only a Vaishnava can achieve this state. Yapanchavarsho Gurudara Vaksharair Vinnena Yato Hrudayena Duyata Vanam Madadesha Karojitam Prabhum Jigaya Tadbhakta Gunai Parajitam. Right, said Narada continued. Just see how Dhruva, grieved at the harsh words of his stepmother, went to the forest at the age of only 5 years and under my direction underwent austerity. Although the Supreme Person of Godhead is unconquerable, Dhruva defeated him with the specific qualifications possessed by the Lord's devotees. A devotee defeats the Supreme Lord, as we have seen. Damodar Leela. Supreme Godhead is unconquerable. No one can conquer the Lord, but he voluntarily accepts subordination to the devotional qualities of his devotees. For example, Lord Krishna accepted subordination to control of Mother Yashoda because she was such a great devotee. She was a great devotee. Lord likes to be under the control of his devotees. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said that everyone comes before the Lord and offers him exalted prayers. But the Lord does not feel as pleased when offered such prayers as it does when a devotee out of pure love chastises him as subordinate. Of course, this is not something artificial. Mm. Mm. When one reaches that stage, then it becomes that is a love that the devotee has towards Krishna. So Krishna then is ready to be subordinate, to come under his subordination. The Lord forgets his exalted position and willingly submits to his pure devotee. Dhruva conquered the Supreme Lord because at a very tender age, only 5 years old, he underwent all the austerities of devotional service. Devotional service was, of course, executed in the direction of a great sage Narada. This is the first principle of the devotional service, Adav Guru Ashrayam. In the beginning, one must accept a bona fide spiritual master, and if a devotee follows strictly, please note this, not simply accept, not simply accept and not follow, then it's not going to make much progress. If a devotee accepts bona fide Guru and follows strictly the direction of the Guru, as Dhruva Maharaj followed the instruction of Narada, then it is not difficult for him to achieve the favor of the Lord. The sum total of devotional qualities is development of unalloyed love for Krishna. Unalloyed. How can we achieve? Can we achieve it? Can be achieved simply by hearing about Krishna. Lord Chaitanya accepted this principle that if one in any position submissively hears the transcendental message spoken by Krishna or about Krishna, that is Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, then gradually develops the quality of unalloyed love. And by that love only he can conquer the unconquerable. So it's not by our austerities, by our knowledge, by our panditya, by our scholarship that we will achieve Krishna. It's only by love, unalloyed love, pure love. No tinge of material uh, desires or sense gratification. The Mayavadi philosophers aspire to become one with the Supreme Lord, but a devotee surpasses that position. Not only does a devotee become one in quality with the Supreme Lord, but sometimes becomes the father, mother, or master of the Lord. Arjuna also by his devotional service made Krishna his chariot driver. He ordered the Lord, "Put my chariot here," and the Lord executed his order. These are some examples of how a devotee can acquire the exalted position of conquering the unconquerable. Of course, we are not doing bhakti to conquer Krishna, but the position of unallied love puts us in this exalted, where we actually end up conquering the unconquerable. But that's not our goal. Goal is to simply please Krishna. Last words, no, one more. Dhruva Maharaj attained an exalted position at the age of only 5 or 6 years after undergoing austerity for 6 months. Alas, a great Kshatriya cannot achieve such a position even after undergoing austerities for many, many years. Dhruva is described here as a Kshatra Bandhu, which indicates that he was not fully trained as a Kshatriya because he was only 5 years old. He was not a mature Kshatriya. Kshatriya or Brahmana has to take training. A boy born in the family of Brahmana is not immediately a Brahmana. He has to take up the training and the purificatory process. Great sage Narada Muni was very proud of having a devotee disciple like Dhruva. He had many other disciples, but he was very pleased with Dhruva because in one lifetime, by dint of his severe penances and austerities, he had achieved Vaikuntha. See, again, we should understand, however great the Guru is, it depends on the commitment of the disciple. That is the reason why Narada Muni is very pleased with Dhruva, that he took it seriously. He took his words seriously. He followed the process strictly, which was never achieved by any other king's son or Rajarshi throughout the whole universe. There's the instance of the great king Bharata, who was also a great devotee, but he attained Vaikuntha in 3 lives. First life, all the executed austerities in the forest, he became a victim of too much affection for a small deer. And his next life, he had to take the birth of a deer. Although he had a deer's body, he remembered his spiritual position, but he still had to wait until the next life for perfection. In the next life, he took birth as Jada Bharat. Of course, in that life, he was completely freed from all material entanglement, and he attained perfection and was elevated to Vaikuntha. The lesson from the life of Dhruva is that if one likes, please note this word, if one likes. Many people doubt this. If one likes, one can attain Vaikuntha in one life without waiting for many other lives. My Guru Maharaj, Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada, used to say that every one of his disciples could attain Vaikuntha in this life without waiting for another life to execute devotional service. And Prabhupada also said the same thing. But what should one do? One simply has to become as serious and sincere as Dhruva. Again, mantra, our mantra, serious, sincere. Then it is quite possible to attain Vaikuntha Loka and go back home, back to Godhead in one life. Do we need any more? What should we say? Proof or this one to say that one can actually achieve perfection in one life. Prabhupada is so explicitly stating here. But there is a quality to the devotional service one executes. Has to be sincere and serious. Yeah, okay. Shashank Prabhu, Prabhu. Yeah, Prabhu.
Yeah, bro, I have a question. So it is mentioned that it is quite possible to attain Vaikunt Loka if a devotee simply desires and serious and
Not
sincere, right?
quite possible.
So
Not quite
should
possible, Baba. Not quite possible. Please. Not saying quite possible. What is it saying? If one
it is
likes, one
written
can
right,
attain.
then it is quite possible to attain.
Yeah, but see, the point is that when we read this quite possible, it's not like, we should understand. If one likes, we can go. Okay, go ahead anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is the question?
So so the destination of a devotee should like he should aspire for Vaikunt Loka. That is also okay, because normally Prabhupada recommends that for devotees the destination is Golok Vrindavan, right? So is
Yeah,
it
no,
like
Vaikuntha, Goloka Vrindavan is part of Vaikuntha. When you say Vaikuntha, it's all of it. It's not only Vishnu Loka. Number one. Number two is this is not the highest platform. When one comes to the stage of love of Krishna, then he says it doesn't matter where I am as long as I can serve Krishna. But initially, because we are so attached and stuck in this material world, Prabhupada, encourages us to develop this desire to go back to Krishna. But eventually, the idea is to just remain wherever we are, whether it is heaven or hell or Goloka, that we just remain fixed in serving Krishna. Yeah, but please note that if we want, we can achieve in one life. If we want, so it is up to us, our desire. What is our desire? Whether we want to be here, whether we want to come back, whether we want to go there, whatever it is. Yeah. Okay. Shashank Prabhu, you had a question?
No, Prabhu, just
Okay.
realization, experience I
One
had
second.
with respect to service.
Yeah, one
Yeah,
second. Then we'll check you. Rasarna Prabhu, your question?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji Pranam.
Yeah, Mataji.
Prabhuji, you said like only the one who is involved in preaching service will progress. So does that mean like the one who's not in that?
Yeah, so we have to understand why that is so important. See, where like Raju Prabhu was giving his example, right? See, when we are not engaged, we need something serious. We need some absorption, deep absorption for making progress in bhakti. When we don't have anything else, we are simply routinely doing our bhakti. Yeah, we are getting up, we are chanting, we are reading, then we are doing our housework. There is no enthusiasm. There is no drive. There is no absorption. Mm, that comes normally. It's not that others don't make progress if they don't engage in, of course, but we've already discussed this, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, if we want, we have to engage in this movement. And it's very difficult otherwise to make progress in this material world. This Kali Yuga is very, very difficult. And now, when will we need associate devotees? How will we associate devotees if we don't engage? Associate with devotees doesn't mean that we just come talk and go like that, right? We have to be in the association, means mm, we have to get inspired, we have to get infected, Prabhupada says, by the enthusiasm, by the commitment, seriousness of devotees. And that will not happen if we don't engage. And like I said, preaching doesn't necessarily mean direct preaching. Of course, if you can do that, that's good. Otherwise, assisting in the activities of preaching. So we have to somehow be engaged in some activity. It could be cooking, It could be sweeping the floor. It could be anything. It could be raising funds for the temple. It could be anything, but it has to be connected with preaching. And since our movement itself is preaching, the only thing is if we are sitting at home, then we will not engage in anything. Of course, sitting at home meaning when we are by ourselves. And there's so many devotees who are not able to go about, but they're sitting at home and distributing Bhagavatam, right? So it has to be just welfare activity. We should be constantly thinking about how to help others. That is the mood. That is the mood of our sampradaya. So it's more than whether we are going to make progress or not. It is not the mood of our sampradaya to be sitting doing bhakti for ourselves. That's the whole idea. That okay? Yeah. Mataji?
One more question.
Yeah.
Like you said, before Vaikuntha and after Vaikuntha also there are material planets. I didn't get it.
No. Within the material universe, this Shweta Dvipa, the Shishumara star, which is pole star, or it could be Vrindavan, Mathura, Ayodhya, etc., Dwaraka. These are all spiritual worlds within the material world. So the Shishumara planet or Shishumara star, then Shweta Dvipa. Now the Shishumara, at least Prabhupada is saying here, from the Shishumara there is illumination, and that is what the sun and moon are reflecting. So there are Vaikuntha planets within the material realm. Also, and they're eternal. They don't get destroyed. Like Jagannath Puri doesn't get destroyed with the destruction of this material world. That's what I was mentioning.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you.
Okay.
Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Anything else? Anybody?
Prabhu, this one, if any disciple falls down, is it necessary that Guru needs to take one more birth to take
Guru
him
doesn't
back?
take birth. Yeah, Guru has to come back. Guru might come back himself. Guru might send his representative. That's up to him. But Guru's responsibility. He has to take the jiva back. So he will have to do
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything else?
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah.
And just a small realization which I had
Yeah.
felt, Prabhu. Each and every little service, whenever we take Prabhu, it connects us to the Krishna. Then what I was feeling like smaller the service which I took in temple or some preaching activity, it was connecting me to Krishna. Then it increased my Shravanam. Now what is happening? Each and every activity, it could be material or even spiritual. The dependence of Krishna for me is increased, I feel. Whenever one activity I try to do, let me depend on Krishna. I'm nothing. Let me depend on Krishna. I don't know anything. You only let me know what I need to do. Like that, I feel, Prabhu.
Yeah.
So even the minor service, the dependence of Krishna will increase rapidly. I felt, Prabhu.
Okay. Nice. Thank you.
Thanks,
Okay.
Prabhu.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Vamshi Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, with respect to the realization only, I just wanted to share my thoughts. So, uh, after we have started preaching, in the Vijayanagar Center, right? So, the kind of a connection or I would say commitment to Krishna Seva has improved and increased compared to what it was before. So, what it has really helped us is a lot more control, I would say, on material choices, or at least trying to make it favorable to Krishna conscious is
Okay.
one
Good.
change what I have seen.
Okay.
That is one aspect, and another aspect is a lot more. It's more on a material front, Prabhu. So always I was thinking that we have to do, and that is our duty. And there was a little bit of an aggression out there. But now what has happened is there is a demarcation to say it is my duty, I have to do, as well as the result is completely left, right? So I'm not expecting anything that this is how it needs to be, or this is how it has to go. So that I have left it to Krishna, saying that Krishna, you take care of it. Whether it's good, bad, it's your choice to me. So that clear cut demarcation I'm able to do, and there's a lot more, I would say, peace in me with that approach. And now that has also increased a lot of faith. So
Okay.
whatever important decisions in life, I'm just like, I'm saying, Krishna, I'm taking that step, so it's it's in your hands. You please look into this.
Hmm.
So whatever is favorable for me, you take it up for me.
Hmm.
Okay. So
Okay, good.
that's one change what I have seen in me, and apart from that, little bit of the seva aspect of it, right, Prabhu? So I'm able to de-link myself a lot in the material uh, activities.
Okay.
Say there was a lot of fluctuation before, right? So there's a lot more thoughts about I have to do this, I have to do that. Aspects were coming, but when I'm involved in these activities now, little more discipline has come, and little more I'm able to not think about other things. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, good. Anyway, so the dependency, one thing about dependence on Krishna, yeah, initially we can depend on Krishna, we can explicitly say, Krishna, please take care. Then slowly we'll make progress to a stage where we'll just we'll depend on Krishna, like Pandavas, when Ashwatthama left that Brahmastra, they just took up their arrow to fight because they thought that is the natural reaction. But their whole existence was based on dependence on Krishna. So we'll be dependent on Krishna. We'll put our effort. Yeah, and like you said, yeah, if it didn't work, it didn't work. If it worked, it worked. We just move on. Okay, that's all, right? So meaning next stage is where we will not even ask Krishna and take care of this. We just say, okay, just keep on, right? And the explicit thought is not about, okay, what about this material activity, but the explicit thought would be saying that Krishna, okay, how can I serve you? What else can I do to serve you? So material activity, it's like, so for example, we get up in the morning and brush our teeth. Do we think saying that, okay, if I brush my teeth, what will happen? How will it happen? This, that. No, we just brush our teeth and move on. So material life should become like that, as uneventful for us. Just go on. That's all. Don't even bother. Don't even bother to ask or depend or something. Just do whatever is possible and just implicitly leave it to Krishna. Whatever he wants, he will do. Mm. Anyway, it's good. This is good. And I'm just saying what should you look forward? The next step is to just do as a matter of duty and not even uh, not even tell Krishna, saying the Krishna take care. He knows. Yeah. Okay. But this is a good stage.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Anything else? Anybody wants to share? Good. I'm happy that all of you are experiencing progress and seeing Krishna consciousness has to grow in our life. Material consciousness should not grow. Krishna consciousness should grow. And when Krishna consciousness grows, automatically material consciousness diminishes. Automatically. So that's how it has to be. Okay, so we'll stop here. I think there are still some verses. We'll maybe continue tomorrow. Krishna willing. Okay, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Vancha Kalpatarupishta Kripa Sindhubhyo Cha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Koti
Hare,
Vaishnavabhyo
Hare,
Jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam to
Dhanavad.
everybody from.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Babuji. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Prabhu.